Welcome to another episode of Harbor City Local TV in partnership with Space Coast Podcast. Today we have Wes and Lisa, staples of the local EGAD community, with their tattoo shop Against the Grain. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
And Jesse.
Yeah. Good morning. I'm excited about this episode.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Two of my favorite people in the entire world, best friends, and I'm glad that we could get them on and chat about what they have coming up soon. And it's pretty stellar. A 20-year anniversary for Against the Grain. 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
most
it's crazy.
businesses are lucky to get through 5, and you guys have been here 20. So, I mean, you've seen a lot of changes in the area.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so back in the day, when I moved here in 2002, Wes and Lisa were two of the first people I met. I was working in restaurants at Dr. Joe's and Conky Joe's in the EGAD area before the Arts District was what it is now. Before we get into the event a bit, maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about how you ended up in that area and what it was like back then.
I think we ended up there pretty much by fate. It was one of the first places that we looked at when we came here, when we decided we wanted to open here. Well, I say decided, but we had a huge hand from our friend Paul Wren, who now is at Old Ghost, but owned Thinker Tattoo back then. I worked for him a couple times before, and we decided we wanted to open a shop in Florida. Searched up and down the coast, went all the way to the other coast, couldn't find nothing. On my way back to Atlanta, feeling defeated, I stopped by here to crash at Paul's house on the way back. And we just got back from dinner and stuff, and he's like, "How's the hunt going?" I said, "I don't know, it sucks. Everywhere has a tattoo shop within 2 miles of where we want to be, or the landlord just, you're scum, you're a tattooer, get out of my place. You know, I don't want to rent to your kind," literally. I heard that a couple times. And we just got back sitting at his house, and he's like, "Why don't you just open in Melbourne then?" So where we're at now in EGAD was one of the first places that we looked at.
It was a mess, though.
It was an absolute mess, because back then Eau Gallie was not the best area of Melbourne, I'd say. And yeah.
There was a good-sized homeless population living on the property.
Oh.
The windows were broke out in it. It was in really bad shape. So when we looked at it, we knew how much that it was going to be really expensive to renovate it. So we kept looking.
I think we looked at about 70 different places throughout Melbourne, all the way from top to bottom of Melbourne, as far as we could stay within the city. We knew we wanted to be in Melbourne, not Palm Bay or anywhere else. So we chose Melbourne, and when we came back to it, she was talking about the homeless people that were living there. And I mean, you got to have a heart for, people need a place to stay. And if it's an empty building, I get it. The day we signed our lease, we had to meet across the street.
With the rental company.
The leasing agent's like, "Okay, here, sign here." We signed. And she's like, "Hold on." Picks up her phone and calls. She's like, "Melbourne Police Department, I need an officer to this address." And 2 cops pull up, and people literally started crawling out from under the house,
Wow.
jumping the fence out of the backyard. They rounded up like 5 or 6 people and just let them know, "Hey, this place is, rented now." So, and then after that, it was just a little bit of a
2 or 3 months of painting and cleaning and staining and
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, getting it ready to open.
To build it, yeah.
and spending
clean
all
it
the
up.
money we had.
Excellent. So, I mean, a lot has changed, but, you out there that have gotten into the tattoo game and are seeing what Brevard is now and Melbourne is now, this is what you call paying your dues.
Yeah, no kidding.
And, back then, when I moved here, it was, at least in Melbourne, to what I know, it was Against the Grain, and it was Paul Wren.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey,
not,
Paul.
Yeah. Hey, Paul. Side note, Paul has been a big part of Wes and I's relationship in a lot of different ways. Not only the tattoo here, but Paul was also the original singer of our band.
He was.
Back when they were a more of a psychobilly band called Zombie Jesus. We don't sound anything like that anymore. But Paul was the original singer, and that's how Wes and I got into music together. Just a quick side note there. And that opening track was 60 Foot Giant, our band. You can check that out on all the socials. We'll get back to Against the Grain, though. So you guys move in. There's a ton of work to do. What did the Arts District look like at that time?
There was no arts district.
No,
at the
there
time.
was no EGAD.
Was there any businesses that are there now that were there then?
Ace.
Ace.
Ace
Yeah.
Hardware.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Is the art store still there?
Oh,
Ralph.
Ralph.
Yeah,
Ralph was
Ralph's
there.
Art Store
yeah,
was
Ralph's
there.
Art Store was there. Joanne's Pies is still there. I think they've been there that whole time.
I don't know.
Or Mather's Bakery was there.
Yeah,
think it was
Mathers.
That's where
Mathers, yeah.
Mather's Bakery
Yeah.
was.
There
And they're
wasn't
gone.
much, and there was one bar,
Mm-hmm.
or two bars if you count Dr. Joe's.
Rest
They
in
were
peace,
only open.
Dr. Joe's.
They
Rest
were
in
only
peace.
open for a couple months after we opened, and then they were gone. I think we had our after party there for our grand opening.
Yeah.
At Dr.
Yeah, because I was
Joe's.
working there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I met y'all.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was cooking at Dr. Joe's at the time. But yeah, so to see where EGAD is now, how do you feel about the changes? Because it's a mixed review on what's happening in EGAD. How do you guys feel about EGAD?
I'm pretty happy with. I'm stoked that the neighborhood's doing good. What's the mixed review?
I'm kind of
What's
mixed
the
about
ne-
it. I mean, I'm mixed about it because I did like some of the. I mean, when we opened, it wasn't a good neighborhood. I'm not opposed to the kind of socially outcast areas, and it doesn't bother me at all. It's home where I grew up, so I mean, to see some of that go away with the. I don't want to say gentrification because they haven't done that to our area yet. And
But do you feel it's coming?
I feel it's coming.
Yeah.
We're going to lose a lot of that downtown charm when a giant skyrise goes up in that area.
It's going to lose its edge. I know
It's
that.
going to lose that artsy feel to it.
Now you guys travel a lot. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite places to go is Asheville.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys have spent time there. And what I see here is the idea of we have our downtown Melbourne and then we have our arts district. Well, these cities have that too, and Asheville has, even in their art district, their level of high rises.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like as long as we stay true to, and keep them honest to what we are, then
Yeah.
we can kind of maintain that.
Well, I think if you want a successful business area too, you have to have people living in it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not enough houses there to have that many people living nearby. And
Mm-hmm.
putting in places like that put more people in the area, bring more money to the businesses there. We would like it to stay more edgier businesses and not be like downtown Melbourne,
No, I feel you. And business here. Yeah.
100% business
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Lisa
Yeah.
speaks business. Yeah,
I'm
with
the
you.
dreamer. She's the numbers girl.
Yeah, which is perfect. Excellent. So you guys move into the shop. It needs a ton of work. Has it been pretty? How many upgrades have you done to the shop?
We only renovated the inside until we purchased the building.
When did you purchase the building?
6 years? 6 years in? I think it was about
6
6
years in.
Yeah,
we put it up for
so-
sale, and then we had buy it or move.
2008.
Yeah, I remember the lease burning party. That was
Yes.
fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Literally a lease burning party.
The thing about the Against the Grain crew is that there's always a reason to have a party. And
There's never not.
right, yeah. And I'm glad I've got to kind of get to know the community through the Against the Grain connections. Now, you guys have this 20th anniversary party coming up. Where's that going to be at?
Intracoastal Brewery,
Nice.
located on Eau Gallie Boulevard.
Now,
I don't know their exact address, or I'd have thrown that out there.
Now, when I was living and working downtown Melbourne, there was some bars and stuff that came in and kind of changed the whole culture down there, because that was pretty empty when I moved here too.
Yeah.
Intracoastal has done a lot
Huge.
to
Huge.
change the whole dynamic of EGAD, I feel. Did you guys have an immediate relationship with those guys?
Yeah, I think well, I mean, we love beer, so
We love beer.
we saw a brewer, we had to go check it out the first day, you know. And,
Yeah.
we met John and Kyle and Donald, and those guys are just stand-up people that they want to see this community grow as well, too. So, I mean,
We're always stoked for new neighbors because
Yeah.
there was nothing
Definitely.
going on down there for so long. So
Yeah.
it's like, cool, there's people coming in. Maybe the area is going to pick up and stuff. And I think them being there had a huge part of that, you know.
Yeah.
And the place is great. You know, they make great beer. It's a cool place to hang out.
the atmosphere is really cool.
Yeah.
And kid and dog friendly, too. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they keep that family feel to it, you know. I mean, yes, they're selling an alcoholic beverage that's adult style, but they know that those adults have family and they want to build that for them too, you know. So
I agree, and they're
very commendable.
very community minded. They participate in the music festival, Space Coast Music Festival,
Yep.
and they're working with us on Punk in the Park. So yeah, they seem to be always engaged in what's going on around them. So while they are growing their business, they're very community minded, and you don't always get that with a business.
No, you get a lot of money-based business models that are like, well, where's it going to put money in our pocket? And they're like, they understand that you got to, you know,
They
you
give
got to
back.
support the people that are supporting you.
Yeah. To give back to their community.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so when is the event?
May 28th,
May 28th, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
Saturday.
Saturday.
the Saturday of Memorial Weekend.
Yeah, 5 to 10 p.m.
So you can come and party hard because you
Yeah,
got 2 days.
you know you got Monday to recover
Yeah.
too.
You got 2 days. Excellent.
And Intracoastal is nice enough to not only brew one beer for the occasion, but they're doing 2 beers for us.
What kind of beers?
Wow. That's cool.
Double IPA and a Dunkel, a good old style Dunkel.
Wes and I drew the labels for them, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Man.
you can
Fun.
get them to go too.
Yeah.
We'll have to edit in those pictures or something.
Yeah. So the can release,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So they'll have 2 can releases the day of our party. They're
That's
not
fun.
They're canning it that week or that day or 2 before, and then they're just going to release it
So
at
they're,
our
they're
party.
HEG anniversary beers.
ATG
Yeah.
anniversary beers, and I love that they do that with the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
I know that they did that with Dreamland. We had Derek
did it
Gores
with-
on last episode,
The Robot Love too.
Robot
The
Love,
Robot Love Festival
Yeah.
too.
and you had done art for it before, right?
Yeah, I think it was about a year ago or so.
Yeah,
They let me draw a label for it.
that was actually one of my favorite beers that they ever
Oh,
brewed.
mine too. That West Coast IPA.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Now, who's you're going to have entertainment? Who's playing the event?
These guys called 60-Foot Giant.
I heard they're going to make an appearance.
A special
There's a
appearance.
local musician named Josh Doyle. He's going to start it out with it for us. And then 60-Foot Giant is going to do an acoustic set
First ever.
that they've never done before. So
Wow.
see how that's going to go.
See how that works out. Yeah.
How could you get the vocals to be acoustic when everything else is like
He's standing back from the mic like
Okay.
15 feet.
just yelling by himself in the parking lot?
They just
Yeah,
brought
he's
in
in
a
the
whole
parking
different
lot.
singer. Changed all the lyrics.
Right.
It's all different.
That's
and
funny.
and our friend Johnny Depp Prestige from Vero Beach is going to
One
close
man
out
band.
the show. He's a one-man band, and he is definitely an act to catch. He's very entertaining and just a good person too.
And very
so,
talented.
super talented guy. Him and his brother Ben Prestige play around Florida quite a bit. If you haven't checked out Ben or Johnny Prestige, definitely do that.
How'd you get hooked up with them?
A long time ago, a friend of mine, we had gone to see Ben Prestige play, and since we saw him the first time we saw him, anytime he was around us, we made sure to go see this guy because Ben Prestige is, as a guitarist, blows my absolute mind how his hands work. I don't know how he does it. And then he throws in all of his percussion, and like he's a one-man band that is to be seen. We ended up
He played our wedding.
yeah,
Yeah, our wedding reception.
we ended up making friends with him, and our other friend asked him to play our reception. He got me back into playing guitar, actually, because I had quit playing guitar to just dedicate myself to tattooing for
A long
15
time.
years, 15, 16 years. No, longer than that. And then for the last 10 years, I've been back to it hard, but we jammed a couple songs at our reception, and he's like, I didn't even know you played. I said, yeah, well, that's the first time I played in like a year and a half. He's like, you should probably get back to it.
Nice.
And to hear him say that to me was like, well, shit, maybe I should do something about that.
Yeah, and then his brother eventually started doing a similar type of music and started
Yeah.
getting really popular and is very talented as well.
The Prestige brothers are amazing. Just check them out.
And I like what you said about, jamming with him and him motivating you to get into it, because that's what really, anyone out there that's thinking about doing music, go do it live. As Clutch says, do it live and on stage, or don't do it at all.
No, you can do it anytime you want. But if you want to put some nitrous to that feeling, go do it in front of people.
Yeah.
Well, and the good thing about that is that you're among peers. You're you're getting some criticism, and criticism's a good thing.
Feedback hurts, but damn, is it good for your soul?
Yeah, go be horrible. Just go be horrible and get better. We were horrible for a pretty long time.
We're not.
Oh no, we're great now.
Okay.
You're great now.
Yeah, no, we're fantastic
Pretty
now.
fantastic.
Yeah, you don't get to play Warped Tour and Kingfest and all that stuff and be horrible.
That's right.
But there's a little ego for you out there. Yeah. Cool. So on May 28th, how'd you get hooked up with Josh Doyle?
Through my friend Steve Spencer here and Harbor City Local. Josh is he's a local musician that plays around quite a bit, and super nice guy, super talented, and
sings the best version of Everlong by the Foo Fighters I've ever heard.
He's awesome.
He's also the lead singer of Casket Culture, a horror punk band in the area. He's a very theatrical dude. I've seen him do some plays at the Henniger. He's used to be my one of my cooks at Mike O'Malley's. Known Josh for a really long time. He's a very good friend and an amazing musician. So can't wait for the event. It's basically just a bunch of friends hanging out. So May 28th, if you want to come make some friends or you didn't know about it, we'll be at Intracoastal having some fun.
There's no admission. It's open to the public. I mean, they're open for business too. So it's just a good way to make friends and meet some colorful people.
We're also doing some raffles and raffling off some tattoo gift certificates.
Nice.
And we're putting together some baskets full of items from local businesses in the EGAD and the area close to the studio.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Putting a bunch of merch out, so there'll be
some Harbor City Local
giving
compilations.
tattoos.
Yeah, those should be some good stuff to spend your money on.
Awesome. And if you check out the Harbor City Local website, and we have some merchandise on there. If you look at the compilation volume 2, that's Lisa Murphy's artwork as part of the charity compilation. We are also looking for more tracks for this year. So if you have some artwork or some music and you want to get on a local compilation, hit up Harbor City Local. Okay, so we got the event coming up. And anything that you're excited about that happening in EGAD or that you know is coming and no one really knows is coming?
There is a little thing, the Space Coast Music Fest is going to be happening pretty soon.
Nice.
Yeah, we do have Punk in the Park coming up, and then we
Punk
have
in the Park is happening.
Space Coast Music Festival in November 5th.
Isn't Intra having their Bacon Beer Festival coming up?
Intra does have a Bacon Beer Festival, and I believe they'll be doing their Rocky Water Beer Festival later this year, too. Awesome.
There's and I think there's a new hotel going to be going up downtown.
You excited about that?
I'm excited to see what the future is gonna have for that.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'd like
tourists coming in and.
I do like getting up on tall buildings and looking down at the water. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and I mean, just being part of the Arts District, you can say you have an Arts District, but if no one comes to it, who cares?
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, I think it's a good thing. Now, you guys have been. How long have you guys been tattooing?
I've been tattooing just over 21 years, so when we opened the studio, I was pretty much just starting.
I've only been doing it a couple days, I think since 94. So,
94.
That's a minute.
Yeah.
That was 4 years before I graduated high school.
So you
I don't want to put a number on that because it makes me feel real old.
Thanks for pointing that out, though. I'm sure you appreciated that.
Yeah.
Now, Wes, you've traveled a lot. I mean, you both traveled a lot. Where have you guys made home to tattoo? Like, where'd you start? What cities have you been in that you've actually?
I started out in Phoenix, Phoenix, Arizona. I started out in '94 there. I met a guy from Jersey who, in my first year, was super cool to me. Invited me out to do a guest spot at his boardwalk shop in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Oh, fun time.
And holy cow, my eyes were open at that point. A 24-year-old that had never been out of Arizona and never experienced the East Coast. Once I got there, it was a different world to me. And
Welcome to the Jersey Shore.
oh my God, the East Coast is definitely different from West Coast.
Yeah, Wildwood's fun.
Oh, Wildwood's
Yeah.
a blast.
I've never been up there.
Oh, I grew up going to Wildwood. I lived right out just outside of Philly.
Nice.
And that's where we went in the summertime. So
Yeah.
over to the beach. It's fun and dark and seedy.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
We've tattooed in Philadelphia. That's where I met her. We've lived in Melbourne twice before we actually opened here. We lived here twice before, 6 months at a time, about 2 years consecutively.
We
Lived in Texas, San Antonio, Texas,
and then we lived in
Atlanta,
which is where I started tattooing.
Yeah.
and that's where we moved down here and started. That's when we started Against the Grain.
Excellent. Do you feel that being in those different areas has affected your art?
Oh, fully.
Like, can you talk about that a little bit? Like, what did you learn? Where'd you start to what did you learn in Jersey to Texas to Atlanta? Like,
I mean, I learned a lot of what not to do.
100%.
As far as working for the people that I was working for, I'm not proud of my history of how many shops I've worked at, but I kind of am because it's taught me what kind of shop I don't want.
Or what kind of owner you didn't want to be.
Or how to be, yeah.
Or what kind of owner
Definitely
to
how
be.
not to be an owner, an asshole owner.
Yeah.
I'm probably still that, but I mean, I try and keep it as
We
nice
worked
as possible.
we worked for some really nice, good people too. So
Yeah, Tony Olivas in Atlanta
that's where I started.
we owe him so much.
Yeah.
Because he is from Sacred Heart Tattoo in Atlanta. Tony Olivas has showed us so much kindness in a time that was so hard for us just before we came down here, and gave us so much confidence to come down here. He's probably was the one that really lit the fire for Against the Grain to happen.
His business was always family first too.
Mm-hmm.
It
Awesome.
wasn't business first. He cared about his people and looked out for them.
Is there an area that you feel like, okay, I did that, but I'll never go back there?
That we've lived in.
That you tattooed in or lived in? Yeah.
I don't ever want to go back to Texas.
Yeah.
No.
I wasn't crazy about Atlanta. It was a great place to start. I was lucky I went there, but it was, I don't know, being from around Philly, it was a little too southern for me.
Gotcha.
I know Florida's further south, but
It's not as southern. though.
Yeah.
no. So, I don't know. There's not very many places I'd want to live besides in Florida.
Yeah. No, I know you've made home here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I love the mountains, but
North
It
Carolina
gets
would
too
be
cold
nice.
there.
You can go visit those.
maybe
Yeah.
I'll go there in the summertime. Live there in the summertime. Snowbird.
No, you guys have you can tell by your friend group and what you guys have created here. Your spirit is open. Lisa, you have your own gang, right?
Yes. That's not a gang.
Okay. What do we call it?
They don't have a logo or anything. They're not a gang. They are not a gang. They are a ladies'
women's
club.
group.
It's a women's group.
It's a ladies' club.
It's a
a
ladies' club.
drinking club.
Bible study, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's a ladies' club with a logo and a hand signal.
We're a vacation club.
Right.
I think that's it. I don't know.
Are we going to keep it secret? The name of it?
I haven't done it in forever because it was
What's
kind
the
of
name
a
of it?
joke. Oh, the Hades Ladies.
The Hades Ladies. Excellent. Big shout out to the Hades Ladies. They're
Hi, ladies.
big supporter of everything that we do.
They volunteer for the music festival.
They volunteer for the music festival to a point. 60-foot giant probably wouldn't be here without their support and grace.
Yeah.
And patience.
And understanding.
And understanding.
But yeah, they're very supportive of everything that we do. So shout out to
Most
them.
everything we do.
That you know
A little
about.
caveat there.
Yeah. Excellent. So, who is your art inspiration that's non-tattoo? Like, where did you guys get started in doing art?
Alex Gray, Robert Crumb, and H.R. Giger. 100%. Like, those guys blew my mind when I first saw their work. Salvador Dali, obviously. You know, I mean, the masters. You know, and then all the old masters the Rembrandt. You know, all the old painters that were with the classic stuff.
Yeah. Lisa?
Well, when I started art, I was painting. You know, I wasn't tattooing, so it was mostly like, you know, old study painters and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Certain movements I was more inspired by, like Art Nouveau, Art Deco.
Okay.
You know, stuff that was design and oriented. You know, I kind of have a thing about shape and design and graphic kind of look to stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with tattooing, it comes from everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we have to do so many different things when we tattoo and work in so many different styles and draw so many different things. We don't have to. Lots of people don't. Lots of people specialize in one thing. When we started tattooing, it wasn't like that, and you learn to do everything or you starved.
Right.
And
now you can just do one thing and advertise really well for it and
do just that.
Do the same drawing on everybody that you do.
Yeah, I get
But
bored.
it's a different style. You know?
I think I get bored with that, though. I like going in every day and it being a little bit different.
Well, and you've done art shows, like the, non-tattoo. You know, you've done your own paintings. You've done your own. Like if you go into Against the Grain, and you can see some of the things on the walls. There's a surfboard in there that Lisa has painted in. What do you call that? Pointillism?
Pointillism, yeah.
Yeah, and a Yoda on the wall. So when you go into Against the Grain, and we're going to show a music video later on that was recorded in Against the Grain, but it's a lot like an
art gallery.
An art gallery, it very much is, and it's not just, you know, you collect a lot of art from.
We have a very big collection of art from mostly tattooers working in other mediums. A few like painters that don't tattoo, but it's a big collection. There's a lot of stuff there.
We have more art than we have wall space
stuff.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's inspiring. You go in there and it doesn't feel, you know, sometimes you go into a tattoo shop and they're advertising what they do, and that's a tattoo shop. It should be that way. But it's Against the Grain it's just that. It's against the grain. You walk in there and it's just a little different than a lot of the places, at least that I've been. And maybe that's more of just the the grandfathered in, how long you guys have been doing it. You don't have to subscribe to, you know, the way a tattoo shop should look. You can just do whatever the fuck you want.
We didn't want to set it up that way at first either.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first opened, we had the flash rack that people can come in and see the designs, and, you know, just we opened as a custom shop, but we had flash for people to, if they didn't know what they wanted and they just wanted something, here's some flash you can choose, you know, and no stress, no pressure. If you like something, you like something. If you want to change something, we'll change something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we've moved into more of a 100% custom, to where it's like, bring us your ideas, tell us what you want, and then we'll make something for you, you know. Tell us what you want, and we'll tell you what you're going to get.
Now, do you guys have a favorite, like, medium, like portraits or like realism or more abstract stuff?
I don't.
I don't really have a favorite style. I want to do stuff that I've drawn. I want to do stuff that I've given freedom to do what I want, so people get better work instead of, you know, having a decision every point of the way on the drawing process. But I don't really. It doesn't matter to me that it's in a specific style. I know I like to work in all of it. And I'm kind of proud of the fact that I can.
Yeah,
that's important.
Anything that we can have a little bit of artistic freedom, it makes it funner. You know what I mean? Anybody who's doing a job for you, you want them to have fun at it, and then they're gonna show through more in that job than whether that's painting your house, doing the dishes, cleaning your house, mowing your yard, you know, your landscapers, whoever. As long as somebody wants to be there and doing that job, I think you're gonna get a better job from somebody. And when you give somebody a little bit of freedom, like, hey, you know, so, you know, do it your way. However you do it, do it your way.
Yeah, we've ended up with a really great crew too.
Yeah.
I was actually just about to ask about that.
Alex Wilson's been with us for 13
years he's been
now.
tattooing with us, yeah.
He's at Cheater5s on Instagram if you want to check his stuff out. And our apprentice Tori Kazmarek at the Torical Tattoos.
The Torical.
The Torical.
Yeah,
She's awesome.
She
She's
apprenticed
made us
at the
proud.
studio. She's not. She's been tattooing now for, I believe, 4 years.
4 or 5 years. now.
Out of her apprenticeship, so she's been with us 6 years total. She was a receptionist for a year, did her year-long apprenticeship,
Mm-hmm.
and then has been tattooing for 4. And then we have 2 of the best gatekeepers we could ever ask for.
Yeah.
Our reception, awesome women.
Nikki and Ruth,
They work-
shout out.
They work hard. They keep our shop going and keep my life in order. I feel like I'd be lost without them to keep track of everything. And you know,
Or-
they work. They don't sit around just answering phones all day. They have a lot of responsibilities. They do a great job.
They do, and
Killing
Ruth's
it.
been there for a while. She also has her own greens and things business
Yep.
where she sells greens and things.
Selling
Plant-
house
and-
plants.
yeah, plants.
Don't get the
and-
wrong idea, folks.
Plants and art. You know, she's a
Yeah.
painter. She's a painter in her own right.
Yeah.
And you've had some, you know, again, you've brought up people like, you know, even Inga was there for a while, and
Yes, I miss
Yeah.
Inga.
yeah, and now,
Hey,
she,
Inga.
now she plays
Swearwolf.
guitar with the local horror band, punk band Swearwolf. Check them out; they're insane. They're awesome. They were last song on the first compilation when it was just Todd. But yeah, so you guys are. I mean, you build the community, and that's pretty interesting. Now,
Community's always there. We just invited them to come out and come party.
All you gotta do is ask.
Just show up. You don't even need to ask. It's a free world.
Now, where did other than the obvious, where did the Against the Grain name come from?
It came from some really kind of facetious beginnings.
It was about turning a negative experience into something positive.
Yeah. I started. I was working for somebody in Atlanta, and I was not crazy about how his shop was going, and I was pissed off. I had just lost my father. I actually lost about 7 people that year, and I was in a really horrible mindset. But this guy really pissed me off, and I wanted to kick his ass in one way or another. And the best way I figured to do it would be to hit him in his wallet. So my idea was to open shop between 2 of his shops and kick his ass, which would have been going against the grain of everything that's traditional and sacred in tattooing, opening up against your boss. And, you know, like, just trying to fuck it, you know? Like, put him out of business if you can. Like,
Yeah.
the old school way of doing it, but the smart way of doing it without getting your hands too dirty. And that would have been going against the grain of everything that I thought was sacred at the time. And I go, you know what? And that's a great name too. So looking around Atlanta, trying to find a place. At the last minute, I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to
start a
be his
business
karma.
and you can't start a business in
I
a
want to be
negative
his
attitude
karma, but
either.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to do it.
Yeah.
So
On
let's go look
spite,
for
yeah.
you know, I'm going to start it off on a negative note. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. So it's like, let's stick to the original idea of getting a shop by the water. So that's when we started looking in Florida, and the name stuck, and fortunately it just worked out.
Nice.
A lot of that anger's been dropped too.
It has been 20 years.
It's been 20 years, so I'm half as angry still.
Half as angry. Half as angry.
Talk
Nice.
to you in another 20 years, see if I'm over it. But like that fire, I still have that fire to want to do good and prove myself every day that I go to work. You know, some days it's harder than others, but I still get up and try and do that, you know, without trying to let too much other outside influence stop me from that.
Excellent. Now, 20 years, you guys, and longer, you've been doing it longer than 20 years. And how long do you see yourself doing this?
I want to tattoo as
Not
long
art. Yeah, not so much art, but like the business side.
full time. Or just tattooing friends and like, because I mean, I'm
Well, I
gonna
guess
tattoo
we
until
just
I
talk about
die.
it. Yeah, whatever.
I'm gonna tattoo until I die.
Yeah.
But
No,
as a
we-
business,
Not another 20 years.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure. You know, we do know eventually that we'd like to have either a private studio or a private co-op studio at some point, so that we can travel whenever we want, not have to deal with all of the things that come with having a storefront.
yeah.
you know.
I'm huge on the idea of traveling and tattooing wherever I go. Like before Against the Grain was a shop, that was my fallback plan, was just get a bus and tattoo and travel. But you know, if I
Like
had
a portable studio.
100%,
That'd be cool.
you know, and like setting a standard for that portable studio, because everybody'd be like, oh, you know, this traveling tattoo shop, they're probably dirty and blah blah blah, you know. But like setting a high standard setting a high watermark for that.
Right. Well, there's no probably national governing body, but each state has its own licensing.
Exactly. You'd have
Yes,
to be
so you'd
licensed
have to be
any-
licensed in every state, but to
Right.
be able to prove that you have a license in 15 states, that you can go pull up your shop in every state and pass their inspections.
Right.
That's
That'd be unique.
some baller stuff, I think.
Yeah.
you know?
No kidding.
or just pull up in the KOA, open
Yeah,
shop.
I mean, yeah.
And you know, you get not for nothing. You know, there's some loopholes. You know, you ask for donations instead of charging.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need a license to give away your tattoos, and just ask for a friendly donation, a minimum of so much. You know?
Yeah, we've traveled a lot
Yeah.
with tattooing, and we used to be really active in the convention circuit and stuff. So now, when I leave the shop, I don't really have any interest in working anywhere
Yeah.
besides the studio. And when we travel, I don't want to work.
I love tattooing.
Well, I guess if
Who
you
wants
traveled to another facility, another, you know, so maybe
Oh, shit,
another
I didn't
shop.
wanna do that either.
Yeah.
I don't want to work when I'm on vacation.
No, I get it.
you know, and I don't want to, travel work. But Wes loves to do it.
I love
You,
talking
you,
about
you
it.
do a lot of guest spots, right?
Yeah,
Or
I'm trying to do. This last year, I was trying to do one guest spot a month, but that hasn't worked out. And you know, like I eventually want to get into doing at least a guest spot a month. You know, and it keeps the creative juices flowing. It lets you observe how other shops are running. Maybe some things you can take back to yours. Maybe things you can help them with theirs.
That's how I feel at restaurants. When I go and travel and I go to restaurants, I'm always, storing something cool that I
Yeah.
see or, something I want to do. If at some point I get back in the restaurant game, it's like, a notebook.
will.
Yeah.
Oh, you.
I can't wait to eat there.
I can't wait to get there either.
But so, what are some of your favorite guest spots? Like where you've been around the country now. Where's some of your favorite spots that? And it doesn't even have to be for the shop per se. Of course, if it's a great shop, talk about that. But like you've been to New York, you've been to a lot of different places.
Ireland.
We went to Ireland. We tattooed in Janine's shop, Triskel Tattoos. I think that's closed up now.
Yes, you're in the studio now.
I've been to a
Wales?
shop called Red Rocket in New York City. That was just this last November, and that was one hell of a trip. Their location of their shop is awesome. It's like right in downtown, up on top of the building, and you just look out the window and there's New York. It was cool and crazy to me. I could only do it for about a week, and then I had to get back here to the beach. But there did a guest spot recently at my friend's shop in Charlottesville, Virginia. Been around tattoos. He's awesome, great guy. Where else? God, where did I go?
Now you have some guests coming in, right?
Yes.
Yes, my mentor, Darth Needles. His name's Ned Needles NYC. He'll be here for doing a couple days at the shop for the party. We have Joey Vernon from Charlotte, North Carolina, from Foo's Tattoo coming down. He's going to be doing a guest spot. Hayden Abernathy from, what's her shop name?
She just opened a private studio. I'm not sure what the name is, but she's in
Yep.
Virginia.
Virginia. She's coming down
Yeah.
to do some tat slinging.
All of them are in the next 8 weeks, 6
Yep.
or 8 weeks.
So if you want to check out some out-of-town work get some out-of-town work from some people here in town, call us up, check out the website, hit us up through all the socials, and or just come on in and we can get you set up for an appointment for them.
Excellent. And it's a good, opportunity to, if you're that tattoo person that's trying to fill up like I am, it's kind of a special piece. It's someone that you're not going to see next week or a month later or something. They don't come around very often, but they're amazing artists. And do you have anyone joining the team soon?
We actually just today, a gentleman named Andrew Elliott is starting with us today. His at is, I think, andrew.inc on Instagram. He just started with us today, so he has joined the roster, and
He's ready to get booked.
we're excited to see where that's going to go.
It's always exciting bringing somebody new in.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, great. Jesse, you have any questions?
No. The party sounds amazing. I'm really looking forward to this. Do anybody need to like RSVP, or how's that work? Just show up?
100% open to the public.
Cool.
No,
Okay.
you're everybody that can hear this is being invited right now.
I like that. That includes
The
you.
whole world is being invited right now.
I like it. Yeah, with a can release, specific to the party. 20 years.
2 can release.
Yeah. You can't forget that.
He's very excited about the
I'm
beer.
super excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, not for nothing, being being featured on a label is a very exclusive club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian held that title for a long time.
And he does great. Ian Soden is he's a monster in this community.
Such a monster. His murals, his chalk art. You sit
His
at the bar,
music?
and
His
even
music.
So much talent.
He's got too much talent for one human, I think.
Right. Slow down, dude. Share.
Spread it around, Ian.
No, so I'm excited about that. I mean,
So now, Wes, you got 2 labels, and Lisa, you have a label?
Yes.
Okay. Just keeping the tally for everyone out there.
yeah, right.
If you're an artist trying to, get your name out, maybe think about the Intracoastal team, because turns out they work with some of the best artists in the area,
Yeah.
which is pretty interesting. Now, Wes, you guys, I've always said that Wes is a rock star. He's in a band with me and some friends, but he's been a rock star for a long time.
No.
And he's a very humble guy, but it's interesting being in a band with such a dynamic character in the art spectrum on the other side of the music. Now, what was it like, or how has it been for the last years now, balancing musical art with visual art?
Inspiring. I'd like to push different directions of this stuff. They kind of feed each other, and then they also starve each other. Because if I'm putting a lot into music and stuff, I sometimes have problems switching back to a visual mode as opposed to an oral mode, and that I don't know where the brain mechanics on that is. Like if they're coming from the same side, music, visual, and hearing, if those are the same side of the brain. But sometimes there's short circuits and things will bounce back to it, and then I come up with something either in one or the other that is fed back and didn't really make it to the other side. And I don't know where those things come from. So I get confused a lot. That makes sense. Like,
He starts playing drums. Dude.
yeah,
Why are you playing drums on my arm?
Or
You're
some
supposed to be
pieces actually do
doing
come
art.
out more percussive, and,
Right.
or it's confusing, I guess, would be the answer to that
And
question.
busy. He
And
spends a lot of time practicing.
Yeah.
She does wonder where I'm at sometimes.
I can hear you back there.
Anything musically that you're looking forward to for 60 Foot Giant?
The entire future of our career.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to somebody coming up and hearing us and going, you know what, we want to put you guys on a tour. You guys sound like you're a band that's ready to open for us. That's been the dream,
Yeah. And
we've talked about it several times.
And Wes is he's the connection. So it's always interesting when we go to shows, and like we've played with Mobile Death Camp, who is Todd. He's spent time in Guar, and we become very good friends with the Hoot and Hollers, and 20 Watt Tombstone out of Wisconsin. And it's funny because these people come into town, and I don't know who they are. But for some reason, all of a sudden, they're staying at Wes's house, and we're partying with these people. And I guess you would think that would means something, but really it just means we're making friends with some really cool people from around the country more than anything, who do kind of, share. And what we've come to realize is that it's tough out there for everyone.
Everyone,
Even the ones running the festival circuit or running the music as a business. It's those the younger generations that think it's going to be just, I'm going to be huge because my music is great. There's a lot of great music out there.
There's a whole lot of it.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of marketing these days, or buying into stuff. And
Right.
I'm not so much into the pay for play type situation. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Right. Well, I mean, the music industry is not what it used to be even 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Since when do bands supposed to pay to play somewhere? And like they already don't make hardly any money if they're a local band, and now they got to pay you to come to your place? That sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's the game. So running the social media is where we're at now.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. I appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Do you have any final comments you'd like to talk about the event or anything that we missed?
I can't think of anything.
No, come to the party.
Come hang out May 28th.
Come party with the ATG crew.
It's going to be, all of us, we'll all be out there, but hopefully most all of our clients will be there, and they're the only reason that we're still here. We understand that we were nobody when we moved here, and we'd still be nobody if it wasn't for the people that came through our door. And a huge thank you to everybody who has gotten tattooed at Against the Grain in the last 20 years. Me and Lisa, I don't think I can put it into words. I'm getting all emotional about it.
When you make a good point, I mean, there's people like I'm basically covered by Wes, and Lisa's doing my sleeve right now. But there's people out there that are just covered in your art, and have been coming for years.
You get a lot done in 20 years.
You guys have done a few of my friends.
Yeah.
A few, yeah.
It's gotten to the point now where we're tattooing our clients' kids.
Right.
And there's nothing
Fun.
that makes you feel older than that. There's like I remember coming in
generation.
here and sitting in the corner when my dad was getting his full sleeve. Well, how old were you? I was 8. How old are you now? 28. Shit. No.
It's cool, but it's
that ain't so.
not cool.
Well, you don't know where all those years go until you start to get out of bed and you hear those Rice Krispies that are on the floor, but they're not on the floor.
Now, Wes is, or they're both very, do their own art outside of Against the Grain. And Wes does leather work. You can check out Against the Grain Leather.
I also tattoo miniature hands.
Yep.
I have a new miniature hand collection coming out.
Yeah, you can find that at all the 60-foot giant shows on our merch table.
Curious.
It's pretty interesting.
Lighter cases.
Yeah.
They're lighter cases.
So check out the Against the Grain socials, Against the Grain Tattoo on Facebook, on Instagram. You guys are pretty heavy on Instagram.
Yeah, we're
Both.
trying to stay
Yeah.
pretty socially media active.
Yeah. Check out the other artists. Come and see Harbor City Local at Punk in the Park coming up. And remember, Harbor City Local is a 501c3 nonprofit. So the proceeds of the events go to charity initiatives. We are rolling out our, or we have rolled out, if you go to our Square website, we have rolled out our application for if you have a child that cannot afford lessons, we can help you get some lessons with Wickham Road Music, or if you have your own idea of where you'd like to take lessons, we can talk about that. If you can't afford instruments, let us know. We'll try to hunt you one down, or we can look in our collection to see if we have one available for you, whether it's playing guitar, playing trombone. And if you're working for a school and you need some help with your music department, we'll see what we can do. We've been making some really good connections. We actually met with the community relations advisor for Brevard Public Schools the other day. And so there's a lot of good things coming up for Harbor City Local in the education realm, including potentially our own school very soon, focused on at-risk kids in the area. So we have our YouTube, we have our Instagram, we have our Facebook, and we have our Square site. You can find these links on any of our sites. But yeah.
Yeah, I was always looking for donations, musical instruments and stuff like that. If you see a any kind of thing lying around, you're not going to use it again. Give it to someone less fortunate.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, I want to say, man, I don't know if anybody's said anything, but you're doing a hell of a thing for the
Hell yeah.
community, dude.
I appreciate it.
Setting up a vocational school for the local area and getting kids music, dude. That shit's priceless, man. Good
culture,
job,
man.
Steve. Good
Culture.
job, Steve.
Thanks, man. Focused on culture. And that's, what we're trying to do with our events is, we know Florida is more than just a beach. Even though the beach is awesome, we're trying to promote the culture that's here and, get as many people involved in that culture as possible. And a lot of people are locked out of that culture. So we want to give them that hand up. And there's plenty of people out there that are fighting the good fight also. Ready for Life, one of them, Brevard Public School Foundation. There's a lot of good people out there doing good things, and we feel fortunate enough to participate in that. Now, we're going to move into a music video here. 60-Foot Giant finally, after all these years, has a music video. It's for our song The Olive Branch or the Sword. It's a song about making choices and how you want to live your life. The olive branch or the sword. And sometimes you're forced into using one or the other. But
Power to the people of Ukraine.
yeah. 60-Foot Giant, The Olive Branch or the Sword. For Harbor City Local, Against the Grain Tattoo, Wes, Lisa, Jesse, Space Coast Podcast. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Man without a face speaks up in